Play. Love 15.
The exchange he doesn't want to get into, and that is some beautiful depth.
15 all.
Pablo Cuevas there on the right of your picture.
And Mark, I saw them in the gym just the day before the Australian Open started. On the left is Cerundolo's fitness coach, and they were trucking so hard, heavy lifting of weights. Looks much more impressive, Cerundolo, in real life than on the court. Looks quite slim, actually, on the screen. And this shot right here has been a problem for Zverev in the past. Cerundolo is very good in opening up the angles, whereas Zverev likes to play through the court, and that's what Cerundolo was able to exploit in the past meetings between the two.
One thing when you watch this match, you're going to notice that Cerundolo doesn't really seem to do an awful lot to get a lot on the ball. And that really is because of what's in his hand, that racket. It's a half an inch longer. You can have obviously 27 inches in terms of length in a tennis racket. In fact, there's no minimum length, incidentally. There is a maximum length of 29, but this one is 27.5 inches long. But that's not entirely where the magic lies. It is in the fact that he is able to swing it when it's 350 grams, but he's put most of the weight in the head. So it's around 380. That is an old school kind of swing weight up at 380. And because of that, when he gets the racket moving, it's like a mallet connecting with the ball. And he does have one of the bigger forehands, but it's not just big in terms of pace. It's heavy. There's a feel on your strings that you don't get from other rackets. And it also is a fairly effortless serve because, once again, on contact, the racket does an awful lot of good work for him.
First game.
And Josh, can you explain what a mallet is to people who are not
it's like a club.
versed in it?
He just clubs the ball, basically. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because that racket that Cerundolo is using, it's old school. And I can't actually think of too many players, if anyone else, would use the head prestige. So it's not a powerful racket, but he is super spec'd up, so it acts like a rocket launcher. And I like the fact that that half an inch longer, that gives you a little bit of leverage, a tiny bit of extra reach, and look, he's made it work for him. And you know, there's so much goes into specking up a racket. You know, you can make any racket feel pretty good these days with tinkering with the weights. But yeah, look out for that mallet, Petko. It is a weapon.
I thought it was something to do with cricket.
Wrong sport.
No scar tissue at the start. Everyone kind of got their opinion about this one, and that's what you love, a bit of jeopardy coming into a match.
Oh, that is very convincing in the win predictor. 63 to Zverev. I would have also picked Zverev as a favorite despite the head-to-head, but 63 is confident.
A German bias in the win predictor.
Yeah. Is it SAP?
30 love.
There's Sasha's camp. There's his dad in the white cap as ever, front row. Misha, of course, a title that he picked up in Eastbourne back in 2018. So that makes him part of a bit of brotherly love out there, with Sasha picking up as many titles as he has. Francisco's brother, and also won Cordoba back in 2021, so he's part of his illustrious list alongside Emilio and Javier Sanchez, Adriano and Claudio Panatta, John McEnroe, who's here, Pat Mack, G. Mayer, Sandy Mayer, Tom and Tim Gullickson, who have been siblings that have picked up ATP Tour titles.
And I think he has a little bit of difficulty with the shade and light. A few misses where the ball was just around that edge, but I would say in 10-15 minutes or so, that problem will have left the building.
That's what you're going to see a bit more of, I would imagine, from Sasha today, the quick redirect +1 forehand line.
And I think that's when he plays his best in general, not only against the opponent today, against Cerundolo. I think when Sasha hits his forehand down the line is when you know that he's at his most confident. It's the reason why clay is his best surface. He feels a lot more comfortable hitting that forehand down the line, and that brings the rally back onto his backhand, and that is one of the best shots in the world right now. If he can do that consistently today, he will be in a good position.
15 love.
Because as you can see here, Cerundolo, when he has it on his forehand, that's how he dictates play, and that's where he is in his comfort zone. It is interesting to me, though, Mark, and both you, Josh. I find Cerundolo's second serve very predictable and quite slow for a men's serve, but he must be doing something well because he's up there and winning the most percentage after second serve.
It's because of that. He's got the mallet.
The mallet.
He drops the heavy-duty mallet on it, and just so much easy power. It's a big swing, isn't it? But boy, he can generate. And look at that loading and setup. Yeah, so quick to get into position at all times. It's an awesome sight.
And it's not just about a heavy hit forehand. There is a lot more touch about him, and because he does have the big hit, he creates space in the forecourt to exploit. 2-1, nice start.
Time.
Early stages, everyone trying to get through them as comfortably as possible. Does it help playing on the same court? Do you think, obviously Sasha played out here against Cain, do you think coming out here is a big advantage for him?
I do think that he really likes this court. He might not say it because I know that he loves the big stage and he always wants to play in Rod Laver Arena, but he had his best match last year as well here on John Cain. That was against Hugo Humbert, where he played some of the best tennis of the year. And when he came up on tour, he really thrived in the big riotous crowds, and John Cain always feels a little bit more rowdy than anywhere else. So maybe some part of him remembering.
That's a really good backhand from Cerundolo. When you're out of court like that, there's a temptation even just to go big down the line, try and finish the point. But against Sasha, to go through the middle there, angling it into that forehand, you're pretty much guaranteed to get one tugged into your forehand side. And then suddenly Cerundolo can get to work on that forehand. Be interesting to see just how aggressive Argentine is when he's out of position on the backhand side. Yeah, he's struggling a little bit like Sasha was with the shadow.
Just on exactly on that line, it's difficult. It might not look as bad on the screen, but when you're on the court, when the ball comes out of the shadow into the sun or the other way around, you lose it for a split second. And at this pace that these guys are playing, a split second is a lifetime.
And you want to know why he runs around his forehand and his backhand. That's the reason.
2 games up.
Just sitting courtside too, you just get an appreciation of just how big Zverev serves. And I know Mark, he's really improved his serve over the last 2 to 3 seasons, and it's just a heavy serve. And by that I mean it really pushes the opponent back. And you know, he had a few serving issues, didn't he, early on in his career, but he certainly seemed to have rectified that and has great ability to serve well with easy power for long periods.
Actually got a little bit of the gremlins with his serve when he was kind of working with Ivan Lendl. They were sort of even then trying to experiment with sort of weights in the racket, a little heavier. It seemed to really throw off his rhythm on his second serve at that particular point.
Yeah, I'm always impressed, guys, with for a guy who's got such a big serve, his year-end serving stats in terms of first serves made, his first serve percentage is always very high year on year. So that always surprises me for someone who serves so big.
The one thing about Cerundolo's backhand, Andrea, it's very cramped. He could hit it in a London phone box.
Yeah, I actually think that the reason he has had success against Zverev in the past is because Zverev hits his backhand so big, and Cerundolo needs a little pace on that. You could see the last two he's missed. The ball was kind of sitting, and it's difficult for him with that short swing to accelerate.
Yeah, in an ideal world, your non-dominant arm should be kind of straight going through the ball. I mean, that's the general rule of thumb, but you kind of look at this here. Gets quite high up with the racket head as well, doesn't he? The wrists get quite locked.
Yeah, I think actually the preparation is really nice. I do think sometimes when he's a little tight, his left arm doesn't swing through the ball. You could see it here. It kind of goes just close to his body, and the ball dies on him.
Nope. He's underhit it. He was a little rattled in the last game when Zverev was serving, and it looks like some of that carried through to the 5th game, and the German breaks free.
By 3 games to 2. Time.
Kind of picking up where he left off against Cain, to be honest, in that 4-set steamrolled. The Brit who had played some beautiful tennis in the opening couple of sets. It's tough to sustain it against these great players. And so much about Sasha's game feels as though it's about feeling. Almost rather than reality. It's like, if he feels good, watch out. It kind of makes sense for Cerundolo to buy himself some time back deep. Do you think it's going to work out for him?
Well, I think that's how he makes his living, but I think if he's to win, he's got to get up a little closer. Once he makes that return, just have an urgency to get back up closer to the baseline. I mean, this court is enormous, so it must feel big for him out there as well. But I agree with you, Mark. He's playing very well. You can just hear the sound off the Zverev racket. It's confident. He's not moping around. The big German, sometimes he gets a bit miserable and he mopes around the court. He's sort of up and about. He's as positive as you'll ever see him at the moment.
Josh, was there a little chatter for Cerundolo and his team? I felt like I heard something at the back end of this change of ends.
Yeah, you could see it even in the previous game. There was just, I don't know whether he was unhappy with what it was, whether it was his racket or something like that. But yeah, it's a trend that I don't like in our game, where you see the players giving it to the box. It's just not on.
Cain. Zverev.
Yeah, very solid service performance here so far from Zverev, and solid from the baseline. German flags abound. And that's the thing we talked about at the top of the game, Mark, right? With Cerundolo, he tends to get very down on himself. He can be very negative, very chatty. And he had that under control here at the Australian Open. That was part of why he has played so well. But clearly, when you see him chatting to his box, the stress levels are just higher than they were in the first 3 rounds for him.
This is really impressive.
Just looks like he's got so much time on the ball. Sasha Zverev here, he's doing it easy. And again, when you sit courtside, you get such a great appreciation of just how hard he's hitting the ball. And Cerundolo, he wants long rallies, but that won't bother Sasha. He works so hard. He's in pristine shape physically.
I'll tell you the other thing that's becoming crystal clear in this opening kind of 7 games. He's not as bothered about Cerundolo's forehand as perhaps we thought he might be. He was quite happy in the previous rally to change onto the forehand side. And when you lose touch with a great player in a set, it gets incredibly difficult once they have this freedom. Because then you're chasing. And then you have to come up with something exotic, and he certainly has that. He actually does have one of the best kind of +1 drop shots on the forehand side. He's not quite in Alcaraz's territory, but he's not far off.
This is great hitting, great playing from both players. I love that Cerundolo is not afraid to stay in those backhand cross courts, just keeps it very solid there and forces Zverev to change up the line.
Yeah, because he's quite bent with the 2 arms when he goes through, it's not as easy a change for him to go redirect down the line, because he's got a little bit of a tendency to sort of overuse the left arm to drag the ball back to the middle rather than being pure through the line. He's disappointed with that. Last time he missed that, Andrea was still in the top 10 in the world.
Thank you.
Came for the tennis, got a soccer atmosphere. positive signals down the other end of the court. Cerundolo will be a little concerned. Second serve points won, 45%. He's around 50% in general on hard courts.
This is very well played, and that's what I've missed from Zverev in the past, the going after the second serves when they are landing so oftentimes in his best shot on the backhand side. Here we have his very good friend Marcelo Melo and Sergei Bubka in the front. On the right next to Sergei is Bastian Arnold, the physiotherapist.
Cerundolo not really seeing a good future at the moment. The German flag flying high, 5-2.
Zverev leads by 5 games to 2.
And Andrea, when you play as well as Sasha has just played in this, almost opening 30 minutes, if you're Cerundolo down the other end of the court, there is an understandable temptation to try and do more than you're almost capable of.
Well, and I think people underestimate, yes, it feels good to play somebody that you have a positive head-to-head against. At the same time, it does create a little bit of pressure because you feel like you're in the 4th round of a Grand Slam and you're playing somebody that is obviously the number 3 in the world, but at the same time, for some reason, you're the favorite. Josh has talked about it. Most people around the grounds have picked Cerundolo to win this match, and that's a weird situation to be in at a moment in the Grand Slam tournament where Cerundolo hasn't been that many times. He's been in the quarters at the French, but not here.
Time.
Apart from that last little strip of court, the court now in the shade, as is Cerundolo in the opening half an hour of this opening set. Sasha has been magnificent. Daunting task for Cerundolo. Sasha with the new balls.
15 left.
Missed just 2 first serves in this opening set so far. Smart shot to play straight off the serve, given how far Cerundolo was back behind the baseline to return. a miracle of an opening set. Whichever way you looked at it, it was absolute perfection for Zverev. 6-2. And you can see why. First real mistake, and that is kind of what Cerundolo wants at this moment. It's just a little bit of a drop-off in form from his opponent. Otherwise, this could be relatively straightforward. Not a lot of flexibility in Cerundolo's game to kind of change up what's happening to him at the moment. Can make more first serves. That was something that wasn't as good as he would have liked in the opening set.
Yes, so that's something that I think when your opponent is playing this well, you have to sort of accept it and try to hold on to your serve and hope and expect that at a 3-all, 4-all, if you can hold on to your serve, maybe there will come a drop-off. You just have to continue to poke the bear and see whether the bear wakes up or not.
Okay, we've watched him enough to know that that is arguably the barometer of how he is feeling. When he starts moving around this ball to rip a forehand inside in, he's feeling it. This is already a code red, and it's only 30-all in the second set, first game for Cerundolo. He's got to find a way to get out of this game. Kind of feel like serve to the forehand here, slower pace because Sasha's deep. Try and pull him off the court. You know the forehand's probably going to go cross. Just step on the gas. Do it again on the second almost. But like you said, Andrea, he's got a very predictable second serve.
Very predictable. It always goes into the backhand or a little bit into the body. And in the past, Zverev has just let it sit there and tried to open the rally. And I do think he's doing a little bit more with it today. And that's why we are in the situation that we are in now, where Zverev has all the cards in his hands.
Thank you. Juice.
He's got enough supporters in here.
Cerundolo.
And they may well give him the lift, and it certainly would be a big lift if he gets out of this game. Gift on the break point from the German.
Well, and Josh, it seems to me almost as if the weight of shot that Zverev is throwing at Cerundolo is a bit too much for him to control.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's heavy. He's just generating such easy power, and as you can hear, the atmosphere just starting to pump it up a little bit here. We've got a few Messi and Maradona supporters out here just trying to shift momentum for their man Cerundolo. But I do agree that his power at the moment, and Mark, it is a barometer of how he's feeling and just the confidence level. He not giving too much away with his body language, but he is absolutely pounding it out here.
We can take it even.
Let's for service.
Well, he stopped it getting messy.
Well, that was a very important and very good hold from Francisco Cerundolo, and the Argentine fans are doing a good thing here, trying to lift up their man. They can feel that his opponent is in very good form, and we were talking about the weight of shot out there, and we have the numbers for it. Take a look at that. Zverev is up.
What?
Yes, and his speed. He's playing faster, harder, and with more spin than Cerundolo on his quote-unquote weaker side, and Cerundolo's stronger side.
Do we need to check the radar gun for that number? 151.
I mean, that's 93 miles an hour on average.
Yeah, that is enormous. I mean, 130 plus is huge. That's 150. That is astronomical.
I mean, that is, well, I've seen it a couple of times where people have played at that number for a set. I saw it again, actually with Simone Bolelli at the French Open when he played Rafa. He was 90 off both wings for a set, and then you can imagine what happened after that. He collapsed like an accordion. But that is on a scale that we rarely see. And if you are sitting in Pablo Cuevas' shoes right now, all you're going to say to Cerundolo is that this cannot last. This has an end game. Because if it does stay at that level, you can give him the trophy now. I mean, that is, you know, when Yannick elevates to 85 miles an hour, and sometimes a little bit higher, he doesn't stay there for that long. 9 out of the top 10 last year at the Tour Finals. Well, had on average 80 mile an hour forehands. That was, I think that's the first time I've seen that 9 out of the 10 players who went to the Tour Finals had 80 mile an hour or just a little bit above it plus forehands. And that's the right of the elite, that they're operating in a zone where you can continue to control the ball. Nice to watch something so special.
I love it when you got excited up in the fun box, Mark. A good stat that's got him fired up. How good.
I think everyone was talking about Cerundolo possibly winning this match and having the bigger forehand, and Sasha's taken that personally.
Great players have that, right? Just think about Coco Gauff. Whenever somebody doubts her, that's when she bounces back and wins a big tournament. Same goes for Zverev. The moment people talk him down, he just bounces back. These athletes, these competitors want to show the world.
He's been playing in another stratosphere. He will come back down to earth.
Thank you.
Suddenly found a bit of precision.
40-15.
And he's found some rhythm on his serve. He was under 50% in the opening set. He is at 80 in the second. I know it's only a couple of games in. It's a sniper's backhand. He never misses. You can kind of see what he's trying to do here, Cerundolo, to find the rhythm. There's a lot of serves on that tee side over the lower part of the net, trying to just carve it into the forehand of Zverev, which is going to bring a ball back through the middle, which is going to get his forehand into play nice and quickly.
He's doing the right things. It's just, I think, that the outcome that comes back from the other side is just very unexpected for Cerundolo, who surely had an idea of what player he's facing today, and yet he's facing that player times 100.
Could have broken in the opening game of the second set. He's got another opportunity. Look at that shape. Cerundolo's not going to be able to do anything with that. You can't just have attack, you've got to have defense. Arguably, it's even more important. Zverev has shown us both of those art forms there. 2-1. Helps to have a nice wingspan, and it helps to have a nice bit of height as well when you're taking on the ball. That backhand was a great example of that. Prior to the break point, he was able to climb on it. Not many other players would have been able to get up there. It was still an incredibly difficult shot to hit the inside out backhand, but he did utilize his height, which he probably, Andrea, doesn't do enough of because he spends too long behind the baseline at times.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling it. He seems relaxed. He seems to be within himself. There's the backhand you were talking about, and it's such a beautiful shot. Just the simplicity of form gives it so much security. Nice take back. You can almost see his back when he that's how much he rotates to get that long path. And Mark, as you know, the longer the path, the higher the acceleration. Physics?
Exactly. I like it. But also in tennis, as we go through it, and these are some of the changes we're seeing incredible wrist lag. We're seeing Yannick and Carlos getting slightly lighter rackets, and they're able to actually just drop the racket into the pocket, as we see an early break, and how often he goes on to take the set 90% of the time against the top 100 average of 77. We're seeing them able to generate pace with almost more wrist lag than actual sort of long take backs. Any idea what this is, Josh?
Yeah, James is just saying he didn't hear a let cord. He's convinced Sasha that it was a let.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zverev is Lafiti.
I'm not going to lie, I'm so disappointed. What I think was going to happen didn't happen.
Which was?
Was he challenging a net cord?
You're technically not allowed to challenge a net cord.
After an opening point that had him a bit sort of disentangled mentally. I know you're not, because I had a conversation with Fergus Murphy in Adelaide about it.
So you're not.
And I was like, I think you should be allowed to. Frame by frame, if the ball's missed the top of the tape or whatever, I think you should be allowed to. But that is the rule. You're absolutely 100% right.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling that James may be asking for it. Would have been great.
Neck cords, foot faults, you cannot challenge.
Cerundolo getting an assist from the crowd here, just forcing Sasha to wait, get out of his rhythm. Josh, I feel like Cerundolo's got to take that opportunity just to pull the pin out on his forehand.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got to take a little bit more risk on, because he would obviously look down the other side of the court and just see how well Zverev's playing. So he's not going to beat him in these elongated rallies. He needs to find a point of difference, and he's just got to maybe send a bit of threat, and his forehand is the best bet. Now, it's not just the power from Sasha that's doing the damage, it's his depth, quality of shot, shape, heaviness, and everywhere you look, he's just looking a winner, isn't he, at the moment, Zverev? And that depth is pushing him back, and Cerundolo typically would get onto that forehand more times as the rally goes on, but he's just pinned into this backhand corner where he cannot get onto the forehand.
Could have got interesting had he grabbed that point when Zverev thought he should have won it. But the other thing about the point you made a great point, Josh, about depth, and it's always important. But the Zverev backhand down the line is also causing Cerundolo problems in terms of his court position, because he's got to be more central. Can't dance, he can't loiter around in the backhand side.
Yeah, Zverev has done a phenomenal job today to push Cerundolo back behind the baseline, and so the pace of Cerundolo's forehand is not bothering Zverev. He actually has plenty of time to set up for his shots. That's because he's very good and very disciplined on his +1, serving well, returning a little bit more with a little bit more pace than usual. Just a little bit more pace than usual.
Yeah, I think it's come down a bit since it hit its high spot. But you only pace when you can find that kind of angle. But it is amazing how he can hit a clean winner from there. He was a long way behind the baseline. Cerundolo's been returning from 4 meters plus behind the baseline.
Well, and I did go to a practice session of Zverev at the United Cup in Sydney, and I did feel like they were working on the forehand and swinging more through the ball rather than brush up on it. This was nicely done by Cerundolo, but I do feel that oftentimes players are able to do something in practice, and then it takes another couple of weeks or so before they can implement it on the match court as well. And something clicked in the Cam Norrie match where Sasha was all of a sudden able to do that with his forehand, what he's been doing on the practice court.
That's the shot he's got to find. And you can see there when he's a little bit outside the singles line, it's a little bit like a cross-court kind of backhand. It's not a pure backhand strike down the line, and he feels a little more comfortable hitting it from there than he does necessarily when he's actually inside the singles line. But boy, he gets a lot of acceleration through the court when he does hit it. A couple of good first serves into the German forehand, extracts some errors, keeps himself in touch. Right, let's take a look at the valuable bit of real estate that these two are playing on in terms of what they're trying to achieve off return. We've got Sasha's average return hit points. Of course, he's taller, he's able to catch that ball on the rise, and he's able to sort of hold a line there at 2 meters on first and second. This is what Cerundolo's doing, and it isn't working out for him. So the question is what he could even go further back.
He could go further. The thing is, you can return as far back as Cerundolo is doing, but you need to find depth. If you decide to do this with the levers that his opponent in Sasha Zverev possesses, you just expose yourself because you are so far back behind the baseline. You give a short ball, and it's Zverev who takes over with the angles. You either have to go in closer or you have to go back further so you can swing at the ball and find some depth.
Tennis is about problem solving. Cerundolo's got a lot of problems to solve. Those fans don't. They're in the perfect spot. It's not too hot today, even in the sunlight that they are still sitting in. This man has been absolutely excellent. Blemish-free opening set and a half from the German.
Ready to play. Thank you.
Executed it so well. There's a lot of disguise, and of course psychologically when you see Cerundolo set up for a ball like that, there's a temptation to kind of take a step back to absorb the power, and it takes you just a little bit longer to get going.
Let's first service.
Well, it wasn't the best serve and volleys of all time, but that doesn't matter. Here's Misha Zverev, who had one of the best volleys in the world when he still played, his brother and the dad on the left side. But the important thing is Cerundolo will now think about the return in the next few shots. So this is an investment that you are making.
Sasha can't believe it, but he's going to have to believe it. That's an absolutely outrageous pass from where he was.
Thank you. Players are ready.
Crazy to think he's that far behind the baseline and it's still coming through at an uncomfortable height. I love that serve. Not necessarily just as a second, but as a first. I sometimes feel like he serves too fast out wide, and when you serve hard, it goes deeper in the box. I almost feel like he could hit a 170 first serve, find it 3/4 of the way up the line, and just get it carrying away more often.
And this just feels like a very important game for Sasha Zverev, even though he seems to be in total command. But the quality of play between the players has just approached each other. And Cerundolo having a big chat with his box right now. You can see it here. And I think this is not the right moment for him to do that when you can feel that you have an into this match. You have to put on your poker face and pretend.
Sasha also having a little bit of a grumble down the other end to his brother about the racket. He's banging the string with his hand as though he's dissatisfied with what's going on with that. but he's restocked his lead, and a couple of great returns on the outside, just highlighting how correct Andrew was about length. The backhand wasn't as quick as the forehand, but it had perfect length, and he managed to get back to juice. That one way too short.
Ready for play.
Well, and Mark and maybe Josh can attest to that. Anger can be a good thing on the court when it's just used to get the adrenaline flowing through your body. But when it lingers, it will just pull you down in your energy and your demeanor. And Cerundolo needs to be careful to use it as a kickstart rather than a lingering energy.
So good. When his forehand's working as well as it is, there's no real area of neutrality for you to hit the ball into.
It really isn't, but you know what I'm most impressed with, and that might sound weird, but it's his returning. He's never returned this aggressively, and he's not taking crazy risks, but he's hitting good depth and just a bit more pace than he usually does.
Let for service.
Yo no estoy viendo el que se están cagando a palo, estoy viendo el que el Cerundolo todavía no empezó a jugar, ese estoy viendo.
Oh, Sasha didn't think it was in. From what I gather, they were saying, Pablo was saying, just hit the ball.
Hit the ball.
Was it?
Hit the ball harder, quicker, and closer to the lines, and don't miss. Right?
I think Francisco wants his money back.
Well, honestly, what else can you say? Zverev is playing unbelievable tennis. There's a reason he's #3 in the world. There's a reason he's made 3 major finals. Sometimes, as the opponent, all you can do when you're playing the great players, you have to wait it out and see whether their level drops or not.
Doesn't look like dropping at the moment. I do think the one thing he could try is hitting his backhand line a bit quicker in the rally. I think Sasha's getting very comfortable making some early jumps into that backhand side when they're going cross court, or not even feeling under pressure. I think he's got to feel like he's slightly off balance at some stage. But as you can see there, it's not his most comfortable shot, and unfortunately for him, that drifts out, and Sasha drifts ever closer, a 2 sets to love lead.
Zverev leads by 5 games to 2.
And I just wonder, Josh, do you think Francisco Cerundolo can go up in his baseline level pace, or would that be too risky? But I guess when you're down to 6,
he's getting belted on the board. He's got to change something. For a guy who's top 20, I'm shocked that he hasn't changed it up and just tried something different. Look, let's acknowledge Sasha's playing awesome, but if you're out there playing, you would hit every ball to Sasha's forehand. At least send a message and try and break that side down. We know it can break down. Got to try something, and when that side goes down, then his physicality tends to drop, and he can get miserable and grumpy at times. So if I was Cerundolo, I would hit every single ball to Sasha's forehand. May not work for a little while, but you've got to try something out here.
Functionally extinct, I think, is the expression for Francisco Cerundolo in this particular set. Not in the match overall, of course, but he is going to find it a long journey back into this second set. Down a double break with Zverev serving as well as he is. He's trying to do something. You can see he's aware that at the moment there's only going to be one outcome if he doesn't try and change something, so credit to him.
Yeah, much closer to the line there on the second serve return, trying to flatten out the backhand, put a bit more pace on it.
There's so many good things that he's done today. One of the things I've really admired is his willingness to run round the cross-court slice from Cerundolo, who loves to change the pace up. He loves to kind of force you to hit a nothing ball back when he runs round it and gets a forehand into play. But Sasha, virtually every time, has kind of gone round it and then gone inside out back with his forehand and kept Cerundolo's backhand in play.
Let's for service. Thank you.
That is very well done by Cerundolo, and it's so important to make these investments here at the end of the second set to have a good start in the third, if it goes to a third. And one of the few times where Cerundolo was able to win the war of location and position, was closer to the line than his opponent.
It's a little awkward.
Well, but the reason it's awkward is because Cerundolo is now taking the ball a bit earlier, and now Zverev doesn't have as much time as he had up until now, really. And so all of a sudden the ball jumps up on him, and that's when he doesn't get it in the sweet spot. Until now, he had all the time in the world to set his feet up, get in position, and strike the ball.
Insurance break. Well, it is, as you say, Andreas, so important to get a break at this stage. Maybe he can pull it back from 5-2 double breakdown, but just to believe in yourself a little bit more that things are possible.
Yeah, mainly as an investment into the third set. And even now, with the 6-2, 5-2 deficit for Cerundolo, he maybe just found a bit more freedom to go after his shots, to try and stay closer to the line, take the ball earlier.
Thank you. 30 love.
Though he missed it, he had much more depth on the previous shot. That's why he got that short ball in the first place. He's doing the right things now, Cerundolo. Let's see if he can keep it up with how well Zverev has played all match long. But he's slowly finding a way to penetrate at least a little bit.
It's interesting to me how far Sasha goes and ends up. He hits a great shot there, don't get me wrong. Not entirely sure it should have been a winner. I thought Cerundolo had enough time to chase that down. But he's hit an inside-out forehand from that side, but he's chased so hard back to the middle. He's in control of that point at that moment. I'd back him to get most things if Cerundolo even went down the line at that stage.
Really has been doing a fantastic job, Zverev, in exploiting the second serves of Cerundolo. Cerundolo was at a 60% in this tournament, winning second serve points. And Zverev has dropped him to a mere 33 and has a set point now here.
Yeah, he's making him think. And that's half the battle, whereas before it was kind of subconscious and he could just do whatever he wanted. But as Andrea's been saying, more pace from Cerundolo's racket, better court position.
deuce. Zverev.
Game that keeps oscillating from Cerundolo continuing to be engaged in this second set, and Zverev heading to the exit and putting a 2-sets-to-love lead on the board. German with a great chance now with a second serve.
Just a little more passive than how he has returned throughout this match. Just let the ball drop, didn't fully swing through.
May hurt his chances in this game, but that kind of shot does not hurt his chances when it comes to winning this championship, because that is the type of forehand he is going to have to produce against even better players. Great arm wrestle between these two in the 9th game of the second. Argentine fans bringing a bit of South American passion to Melbourne. Done a good job there, because not only has he played better, which has impacted proceedings out here, Cerundolo, he's forced Zverev just to come off that kind of pedestal of perfection that he had maintained for the opening hour and a bit of this particular contest. And despite the lead that Zverev has, there may well be just a couple of doubts now swirling around in his mind as he looks to try and close out this second set. And if nothing more, Cerundolo has managed to extend this second set to almost double the time that Zverev wrapped up the opener. Where do we go from here? Cerundolo down a set and double break. Looked as though he was destined to be 2-sets-to-love behind for the 11th time in his career. Has come back once before. That was at the US Open recently against Matteo Arnaldi, but the other 9 times he was he met with defeat at the end.
Players are ready.
Great effort from Cerundolo. He may have lost it, but he's forced Zverev once again to go the distance in a rally.
love that backhand from Zverev. I did feel the last 10, 12 points, he did get a little bit back into his passive pattern. And Cerundolo just getting into it with his box again, but Zverev really forcing himself to be aggressive here again. That is so important for his game, to elevate it to this next level.
Game, second set.
Fifth ace. The second set in the bag for the German, on course for a place in the quarterfinals once again in Australia. It's to get through to the quarterfinals here in Australia. Josh, do you expect them to stay a bit closer in this third set?
I think so. I think he's got a little better, hasn't he? Certainly Cerundolo has got a little better. Zverev just went back into his shell a fraction. I mean, I'm being highly critical when I say a fraction, because that was two incredible sets of tennis. But yeah, I just mentally, how do you, if you're Cerundolo, how do you try and begin to battle to win 3 consecutive sets against a guy who's just red hot? So look, he was able to extend a few more rallies there. I think he's definitely getting better, and that's what he's just got to keep reminding himself of. He's on the up, and he's just got to hope that he gets a bit of a dip here from Sasha Zverev.
Well, he's found the blueprint to be successful against Zverev. Whether he can produce this consistently for a sustained period of time, we're about to find out. Experience and the scoreboard on Zverev's side at the moment. Cerundolo's never been to the quarters of a slam before. In fact, the Argentine's just his 4th visit down here to Melbourne. He's travelled this particular distance before, Cerundolo at Roland Garros. A couple of times, in fact, lost to Holger Rune in 23 and Djokovic in 24. Played a superb match against Novak. It's a real test, Josh, I think, of Sasha's forehand here in this third set, to try and recreate what he managed to do for a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, I like the fact that even in that second set, he was still willing to take it on and even came into the net more than we're used to seeing him. He didn't execute as well as he would have liked at the net, and I just hope that he doesn't retreat after not winning the points. I think he's got to continue to use these matches and look to come forward. I mean, he has almost served and volleyed once or twice as well in this match, which is a rarity for Sasha. So I think at this stage of the match, if he can just try and keep doing what he's doing, but still continue to push forward and just try and practice in these big moments, closing the net down, finishing it out, I think that's going to hold him in good stead when he comes up the likes of Sinner and Alcaraz.
That's an impressive overhead. Not quite as quick as Alcaraz's 208 off the bounce overhead earlier today against Tommy Paul.
That was something. Well, not everyone is Alcaraz, but this one was very far back. He was moving back, and even for these top players with the height of Zverev, it's not easy to create that much power while you're moving back. And this is a good sign, again, for Zverev that he begins this third set with good aggression on his serve, because Cerundolo has gotten a whole lot more dangerous.
Let's for service.
Probably sitting just below the red zone in terms of how he's operating here, Cerundolo. I have seen him play as aggressively as this, but I do feel as though he's going to have a game or two where he's suddenly going to miss a handful of chances, and suddenly Zverev's going to have some opportunities. That's a winning strategy against anyone.
Love touching.
That was how I won matches.
Yep, I wonder whether he was still thinking about the forehand that he should have taken on and crunched. But these are the numbers saying that he was operating close to the red zone. And you can see here, Cerundolo in set 3 is at 132 on that forehand compared to where Sasha is, who has put his forehand speeds in reverse.
To get to the net and then decided against it last moment. That gave Cerundolo the opening for the backhand cross court. And isn't it interesting, these numbers, how matches change despite the scoreline. On the scoreline, you can't see much change, but you can just feel the shift in the air, and Zverev needs to be very careful.
Quickly, everybody's expectations of how a rally's going to end can change. Cerundolo, he's going to win it. No, Sasha is with one of the great tennis squash shots, and then Cerundolo with one of the great volleys of the tournament. And he backs it up with a tremendous serve. Huge hole from Cerundolo. 2-1.
Cerundolo leads by 2 games to 1.
This has gotten a whole lot more interesting, this match. Zverev still operating at a very high level, just a few more feet behind the baseline. Cerundolo going for a bit more, and that's all it took for this match to become very close. And
Josh, are you down there? Have you got a monitor?
Yeah, I do.
You're the only person here that can volley. Talk us through it.
Yeah, look, it was pretty special, wasn't it? I can't believe he's starting to really unload Cerundolo. The ball is heavy now. He's got good space on this forehand. Have a look at how easy he's ripping this, and we'll see as he comes forward. Look at this, how great footwork, good setup, and this ball is really exploding off the court, and he just charges forward, just throws the racket out. That's just great skills.
Just
only way
like
to describe that.
in his old times.
Cerundolo 2-1. Just going back to those numbers that we saw about Sasha, one sort of 35 down to 118. I think I'm right. Why is that?
So I think that in this second set, when he saw he's playing really well, he sort of started to want to maintain the result rather than proceed to win it. And that's when this happens, what just happened now, that he sort of started to roll the ball in a bit more on the forehand side, was happy with staying back behind the baseline. That's his instinct, right? To outlast his opponents rather than to beat them. And you can see him battling with himself to get himself to want to beat these players. In the meantime, Cerundolo is mainly battling with his box and Pablo Cuevas. Not sure he's going to win that fight, by the way. I saw Pablo on the court.
Cuevas was some of the great trick shots in tennis of all time. He was also a man for the big time. He had 5 top 10 wins. That's what his man's trying to get today.
Ready to play.
That shot has been absolutely perfect. Every time he's gone inside out backhand, he's won the points.
So it's so good. And what I love is that on a backhand, usually many players just swing right next to their body. And take a look at the left arm of Zverev. It goes forward before it goes up and over his body. That's what gives him the power, the precision. It's just a perfect technical shot in all regards.
And that is a great point you just made, because on the flip side of that, that is where you feel Cerundolo could just get a little bit more of his left arm being longer through it. The ball would stay on the strings for a little bit longer, and that control on the shot down the line would just be greater. At one point could flip this set.
40.
Suddenly 15-30 feels a lot more different for Sasha as he's trying to push on and get through here in 3 straight sets.
Game. Zverev. 2 games all.
Started off his Grand Slam career, Zverev almost playing everyone in 5 sets. It was a long slog in the first few years that he played majors, and kind of ran out of gas at the back end of them because of it. He's been a lot more clinical in recent times.
Previously just lacked maybe 1 or 2 steps on that volley, but when it comes to volleys, we'll throw down to Josh Eagle. Was it the 1 or 2 steps?
Well, he should have made it, let's face it. I know you would have made this, Petco.
I certainly wouldn't have, that's
he just
for
chopped,
sure.
I think he chopped down on it. He came to, you see, he just chops down. I just need to, you got to follow through nice and high on a high volley. But what is, it's interesting courtside. Cerundolo definitely playing a lot better, isn't he? Like his ball is heavier, it's bigger. He feels like he's at least in this match now. But I think, Petco, you're right. So Sasha has allowed that to happen, and that's through his court position. He has become too passive. I mean, he's deep in the court. I mean, this end he's at now, the wind is behind him, so he's getting help. So he's sort of up a little closer, but once he gets down the other end, he's almost sitting in the front row of the crowd. He's so deep in the court. But these are the moments when I'd love to see him just keep pushing forward. is so good from Cerundolo, and a couple of times in this rally you saw him run around and get onto that forehand, and they are loving it. But Sasha Zverev just a little too passive. He is allowing Cerundolo just to play his own game style and have a look and sit back and relax and enjoy that forehand, because that is a thing of beauty.
As was that. Not only has he retained his standard that he picked up at the end of the second set, so maybe he's just exceeding it right now. 3-2. Just add fuel to that particular comment. You could see Zverev at the end of that last game just engaging in a little bit of negative chat with his box as well. He's a bit disappointed that he hasn't been able to exert greater dominance over Cerundolo.
And I do think this is exactly the battle that he consistently finds within himself. He is a very smart, I want to say boy, but he's a man. He's a very smart young man, and he can feel subconsciously that something has shifted, and he's trying to urge himself on to play more aggressively again, but that's not his first instinct, and you can see him here measuring his blood sugar. He has a type 1 diabetes. It's actually incredible that he is doing what he is doing in terms of athleticism with that in his body.
That's where we are, inside there, and we may well be here for another 25 minutes, or could be another 2.5 hours, who knows. Cerundolo is rising, but is he going to be able to have enough runway ahead to be able to try and nick this third set? Certainly the South American and Argentine fans inside the stadium hope so. Sasha, sorry, Josh, go.
I do think these are at the good end here. This is the end you want to try and strike at, because the wind is coming right behind the players from the end that Cerundolo is returning at. So if he can hit it heavy with shape and continue to push back Sasha, he might just get that opportunity. He's riding a wave of emotion here. The crowd's a lot more engaged. There's plenty of South Americans and in particular Argentinians trying to urge on their man. So I think if he needs to strike, it needs to happen right about now.
The only thing standing between that and Cerundolo is the 90% first serve ratio for Zverev in the set. Maybe needs a little drop off in that department, Cerundolo.
So I have a theory, and most of my theories, Andrea, as you know, will die on the vine very
I love
quickly.
your theories.
So I've always felt, and this is just a very small sample set today, that Sasha would benefit from serving from a wider position on the deuce side. I feel as though, and he shows us often enough, that he often prefers to hit his backhand as his first shot rather than his forehand. So on the deuce side, if he went a bit wider, that would happen more frequently. And I think it would help him with the angle. He's very tight to the centre line, and I think it would help him with the wide serve. I talked about, I think he should be looking to hit 170, 175 off-pace serves on the deuce. And if he did that, it would be dying into his opponent. He'd have a backhand as his first shot, and I think it would set it up. You can see, obviously, first serve points won. It hasn't been a problem. But if you just break it down into deuce and ad, on the ad side, he's won 17 out of 19 points. when he's made his first serve. It wasn't a great approach shot, and Cerundolo's swinging his racket. He knew it, but he got away with it. And on the juice, 17 of 25. So 71-25 losses. He is worse today on that side. It's just been my feeling over the years when I've watched him. It's not the biggest side, because obviously most of the break points happen on the ad side, but it does set up the game. The more times you win the opening point of a game, the more he's going to go on to hold his serve. And he's 6% worse than Yannick in holding service games. There is a big improvement that he can make.
Yeah, a little unlucky here for Cerundolo. Great hustle, and good to see Zverev opting for that drop shot. And it speaks to your theory, Mark. It's a hot theory, but he won the point on the outside again. So far you're correct.
It's not the most positive of staff meetings he's having with himself. Cuevas, who actually beat Zverev in Madrid. That was back in 2017.
A big sigh of relief here for Zverev. This was a very tight service game. Didn't execute the drop shot well here, Cerundolo. And I feel like if he could improve that part of his game, the mental aspect, he's so hard on himself. Even when he won the point to 15-30, he's still shaking his head at himself. I think he could be a top 15, top 10 player even, Cerundolo, if he gets that under control.
I agree with you. I don't think it'll be easy. I don't think it comes easy because he doesn't get a lot of free points behind his serve. He has to work hard, and therefore the mental side of it for somebody like Cerundolo becomes even more important, because he's not like Sasha, where he's going to get 50% of his first serves unreturned consistently. You can bail yourself out. Suddenly, you don't have that much time in between being frustrated at the end of that game, serving yourself, couple of loose +1 shots, and you're in the foxhole.
Isn't it so often the case that players get broken just after they had a sliver of a chance to break themselves? That's where the focus drops. Disappointment sets in. He's still in this.
15-13.
That missed forehand comes on the 4th point of the game, but it actually is contributed to because of the way that he started the game. He has no room for error when you quickly go down love 30.
That forehand was a little tense. It was nowhere near the forehands that we've seen in the last 20 minutes from Cerundolo, where he swung through the ball so beautifully. Great acceleration. This one, not so much.
He's broken himself. And Zverev won't mind that at all. Couple of sets and a break to the good.
Zverev leads by 4 games to 3. Time.
Zverev has landed the break at arguably the most important time, halfway through a set, and just a couple of service games needed to tidy things up. He was expecting a battle, and to be fair to him, he quieted the crowd pretty quickly with his performance in the opening 45 minutes. Cerundolo has made things a little more equal subsequent to that, but no real solutions. Got there in the end. Just to follow up what I was saying about how important it is for Zverev to kind of win the opening point. Look at his numbers, and thanks to Bolt 6 and Max and everyone that's out there working hard for us behind the scenes in the data. When he has gone 15 love up in his service games at this particular Australian Open, he's won 47 out of 49 service games. When he doesn't win the opening point, that drops to 14 out of 20.
30 left.
And it is significant. Any loss of form or numerically is going to cost you, particularly on the harder battles that are going to be coming up here for Sasha as he looks to win his first ever major. Big serve ices that game.
Zverev leads by 5 games.
And that is another big step towards the handshake moment. Third favourite for the title here, Josh?
Absolutely. This is probably the best I've ever sort of I'd have to say I've seen him play at a slam where I feel like he's a chance previously. I just feel Sinner and Alcaraz are that much better in the big moments, but I've really loved what I've seen today from Sasha. It's been impressive. Of course, that first set was such a high level. And you make a good point about winning that opening point. He needs to find solutions there. And what he needs to get a better +1 shot on the forehand. I admit and I agree his backhand is unbelievable. However, if you're in your coaching, put your coaching hat on, and you know he could definitely tinker with standing a little wider and mixing it up. Doesn't have to do it every point, but if you look at those numbers, what you're alluding to, you definitely got to find a way to hit his forehand better off that first shot as well, so he can increase that +1 shot and the winning percentage. Do you think he's a chance, Mark? You think?
I think he's got a chance. I have to say, I would put the way that Novak has turned on the afterburners last night. He's definitely in there with a shot. It's obviously going to be tricky for him. He has to go past Sinner and Alcaraz potentially if that's the way the draw breaks out. I'm sure there'll be others in there like Ben Shelton saying that's not going to happen. It's going to be me. But I think anyone that is as big as him that serves as well as he does, and we're about to see a bit of a gut check for the German here, you've got to give him a chance, a good chance. Well, what can he do? The ball's there to be hit in the next game. He is going to have to hit it. He can't really rely on the fact that Sasha's going to give him the break back and the opportunity to extend his stay here in Australia.
He's been mentally poor, I believe. I just think he's Cerundolo. That's you talk about him becoming top 10, but his emotional control hasn't been where it's needed to be. He's sitting there still shaking his head. He's disappointed, but the top 10 players tend not to do that, and his ball striking and his level and ability is certainly there or thereabouts, but the mental part of it needs to lift.
Tennis's version of Disneyland, and Zverev has a fast pass into the quarterfinals of the Australian once again.
Thank you.
Hold the pose, cue the applause. Beautiful start.
18.
That's why you rarely see a comeback from this situation. We do see them, and they're the most memorable things of all time. But the reality is, for the person that's second best by this stage, it's a very difficult situation to play in, because you've got to play a little conservatively, because you can't just go all out and be out of bounds, and then obviously you drop it in, and the person that is in the lead is super confident. One more dagger, and Cerundolo's campaign here in Australia will be over.
Thank you. Please. Please, can we stop that? Not fair. Thank you.
One of the most magical match points you will see in Melbourne.
6-2, 6-4, 6-4.
And it ends the rout. Cerundolo unable yet to get through to the quarterfinals of a major. Zverev through to his 5th last day visit in Melbourne.